Hello and welcome back. Having looked at defensive setups in our last video, we're going to have a quick look now at offensive setups, or attacking if you must. So this is when you're receiving the ball, you're about to take the first turn. Now we looked at sort of specific formations and good reasons why you might set out in certain ways when we looked at defensive setups. I approach attacking kicking quite differently. So we said in the defensive setups video that you kind of get the chance to sort of the tempo for the game a bit, because you're the first coach putting their team down, positioning their players to try and work out how they go. But when you're receiving, you've seen how the defensive team are setting up, and you can respond to that. Try and get the matchups you want on the line of scrimmage, particularly work out where your blitzes are going to be, and try and make all of that work to your advantage, because you're kind of in the driving seat when you're about to go to kick off. So things to consider: who are your most dangerous blockers? And your safest blockers. So that's probably going to be anyone with a block skill, particularly if they're higher than average strength being 3. So any strength 4 or higher players with block are your most dangerous blockers. They're your safest blockers, and they're the ones you want to make sure you get a decent hit out of to make space in the defensive line for you to get the ball through. You need to make sure before you do any of that, the first question you ask yourself, is the ball safe? If the ball isn't safe, you need to make it safe. Then you can do some blocks, because no matter how safe a block might look, double skulls is always going to be waiting for you. So make the ball safe, make all those safe blocks you can, position your players so you have to move as few players as possible to get all those blocks. So if somebody can be assisting on a block without moving, put them there. Don't move people somewhere in your half where they're going to put an assist down. If you need to move into the opponent's half to put an assist down, fair enough, you need to use an action for that. But there should be no need for someone to move somewhere where they could have just set up just to put an assist down. Just start them there. So they're your considerations really, and which, if any part of your opponent's line is the weakest. So choose where you're going to focus your attack, send your blitz that way, start sending the ball that way if you have possession of it by the time you finish, and work out how you're going to get your scoring players into scoring position. There are things to consider. I'm going to just illustrate this with some examples and then wrap up a bit. Right, so this game, this is be playing the Averheim Hornets against an AI coach Orc team. We saw some of this game in the defensive setups video. But this is later in that same game. It started raining in the meantime, but yeah, here I've set up, you can see it's really lopsided. I'm obviously looking at attacking down the right hand side. I picked this side to try and avoid this Mighty Blow Frenzy Blitzer, who's quite dangerous. There's a block Black Orc on this side where that position is held by a lineman on this side, which makes it a bit of a sort of softer target to get through. Just drops off all the icons, which is really unhelpful. But there we go. Sorry, this is just after kickoff as well. So this thrower started back here. I like to have sort of deep coverage when I've got sort of movement 6 players. You can't guarantee you're going to be able to reach everywhere, so I like to have a couple of players available depending on where the kick's going to land. So my first move, go and stand on the ball. Ball's safe. I can now focus on other things before I try and pick it up. And a 2 dice block with a block player is a safer move than a ball pickup, especially when it's raining, because it's a 4+ roll in the rain. So I've set up here deliberately. I'm out strength. Got 2 strength 4 and a strength 5 player on the line of scrimmage. I've just got the 1 strength 5 player. I just want to unpause it and see if we can get the icons back, so it'll make it a lot easier. Right, here we go. So you can see there are a couple of guard players. There's gone again, never mind. This troll, this Black Orc have guard, so they're going to make it difficult to get 2 dice on these players. And it's going to be tricky to get all of them down, or 2 dice on all of them, especially with block players, because I've got a limited supply of those. I do have a couple of guard players myself, this Ogre, this Lineman here, so I can line up against them. It helps to negate it somewhat. It sort of cancels out those guard assists, but because they're higher strength than me, it's going to be tougher. Now this way, I've got here, who have got, so Mighty Blow Blitzer here, Tackle Blitz here. Tackle's not going to be doing a lot in this turn, but the fact that they're both blitzers, they've both got block, is important, because what I'm going to be looking at after making this safe move of getting standing my backup thrower ahead of the ball. No orcs are going to be threatening the ball. I can now relax about that and do some other stuff. And eventually in this turn I want to try and pick it up with this thrower. But I'm looking at blocks first. I want to make a hole to get my catchers into. So they can be in here, the orcs have to deal with them, otherwise I'm just scoring next turn, providing I've got the ball. So first move, this is a block lineman, makes him a bit durable, but I've got a nice safe 2 dice block, this blitzer on here, this lineman assistant. If I can get rid of him, this lineman can then move over here to assist on this blitzer, round and in there. I do have a strength 4 blitzer in this team who probably would have done that. He's the player knocked out over here, so he'd normally be the one I'm looking at making an important blitz where I wouldn't necessarily need an assist. So this block doesn't fully go to plan. I've got my strength 4 guy who can just go do that, but in this case I want his assist to move over there, blitz from there, get this guy out of the way, and that creates a space I can get both catchers through. Once I've done that, I've got, even though this black orc has guard, if I'm blocking him on a diagonal with 2 guard players there, that's 2 assists. He is strength 3, 4, 5 against the black orc's 4. He's got block, that's 2 dice with block on there. Get rid of him. Don't necessarily need to follow him up, but if I can I might as well. If the black orc goes down I will, if he doesn't I won't. But I wouldn't push back. At least that's kind of the minimum I could count as a success there. Then I'd go with the ogre, because I've got 2 dice with the ogre with his assist, maybe his as well. It's on the ogre on the troll, that'll be 2 dice. Then I've got 1 more blitzer in here. Deployed in the line of scrimmage. I wouldn't put a blitz from the line of scrimmage when I'm defending. When I'm attacking, they're dangerous players and safer blockers. But yeah, once the troll's gone, I move this guard player around here, and I've got 1, 2 assists, so he's strength 5 as well against that black orc's 4. And that's my sort of order of operations for hopefully knocking down 5 players, because they've left a defensive player right on the halfway line. I've got a hit on him straight away, so I'm taking that, making sure I've got an assist, move him over there. I've been through that, but that's my plan for this turn. And then finally pick the ball up, make it safe. I've got 2 catchers in around here somewhere that the orcs have to deal with. If they mark them up, that's fine. One of my catchers has got nerves of steel, he might be who I chuck the ball to. If not, I'm also not in a rush to score. But we'll run it on, we'll just watch my first turn. So that's that first blitz block. Works out ideally, moving that guard over. And we're to blitz from there to make it easier to pin the blitzer against the touchline. And now I've got space to move my catchers through. Don't have to roll for them, they don't need to roll dodges. Now deep in the orc half, and they have to be dealt with, they're scoring threats. 2 dice on the black orc with another block player. He's down, so I follow up. And now it's the ogre. Ogre's the riskiest move I've made so far. This works out okay. But if it's 2 dice from skulls or both downs, that's bad, and I'm going to need a 4+ to re-roll it. But that's why I'm doing the ogre later rather than sooner. And that means I can move this assist around, and I've got 2 dice on that black orc as well. It all went perfectly to plan. All 5 of those players knocked out, nearly. This blitzer wasn't knocked over. Failed the pick up, even with sure hands. And I think in this game it took me 3 or 4 turns to actually pick the ball up in the end. So these catchers were waiting a long time. But that was making the most of seeing the orc setup I was given. That extra player left on the halfway line was 1 more player I could hit. I identified the weaker flank and went for it. And yeah, once I finally secured the ball in this drive, I did go and score another touchdown. Okay, so this one I'm playing Wood Elves against the AI, an AI high elf team. So high kicks, my thrower come over to grab the ball, about to take the first move, first action. So I'm either bringing it over here to just keep it safe, or I'm going to chuck it to one of these catchers. I think I'm going to one of the catchers straight away. But then I'm looking at things like safe things here. So I've got tackle players against these dodge players, although I think I'm looking at using this wrestle lineman on this dodge one first, because I mostly want him out of the way to get a blitz on this player here. War Dancer's got enough pace and agility to make the dodge around there, blitz from this space, and that's why this guard lineman is over here to step there, then there, assist on both of these players, blitz from there, push that guy off the pitch. I've got the wrestle player on here, block, dodge and tackle lineman on this dodge lineman, and the treeman's got 3 dice on this lineman who's standing behind here. And what I'm going to be looking to do with these extra players on the line here is just to move forward and claim some of this space and have catchers in here either with or without the ball. I think with the ball. I think I'll do go for making the pass, even with the rain, doing that quite early, maybe a bit dangerous. But that's the idea of setting up like this, really lopsided. I've got the tree man sort of anchor my left, and my much quicker players over on the right. So that's that guard stepping straight in there. Should probably have done that before the pass. Have to wrestle there to get him out of the way, but now I've got safe block there. 2 dice, and yeah, now I can start moving players in to sort of claim some of this space. It's a big open space that the opposing players have left there, and because they've left players right on the touchline at the kick-off, I've got an easy surf on. That's an injury, so that's a player out of the game. Yeah, if you're kicking, don't leave players on the touchline. So, yeah, 3 dice for the tree man, just to push back, not entirely successful there. And then we've got a guard player who's very useful at caging. What I have done here is not left many good spaces to stand a ball carrier, because these players can just stand up and blitz them. Oh, messed that up, haven't I? Look, left a pretty easy 2 dice blitz on my catcher there, but never mind. The point was I wanted to claim this space, I wanted to push that guy off the pitch, I wanted safe blocks, so I lined up to make sure I had those. I made good use of my guard player. It's about responding to the setup you're shown and making the most of it in that first zone to get you going. So this one, playing against a human coach for all you purists. So this is my Chaos team, Fist of Stabnock, playing against Orcs in a recent league game. I've just received the second half, shut out the first half, so this is turn 9, second half, and we've got a quick snap on the kick-off table, so I'm just stepping forward. But I'll look at the setup first. So three beastmen back here for good coverage. They can quick snap all a bit closer to the ball as well. I've got two unlevelled beastmen back here. I want them both to level, so that's why they're back here, to be collecting the ball and rolling it in. But line of scrimmage, I've got 3 block warriors, 1, 2, 3, facing off against the 3 players I was left with. So one of them's obviously stronger. Other 2 black orcs are matching my warriors for strength. So I've got unlevelled warrior here, wrestle beastman here, to give assists on those end ones, and if they're gone, I've got 2 dice on the troll with 2 assists, taking this Chaos Warrior up to strength 6. Then going to be looking at blitzing somewhere here. I think I'll be looking at I think this guy, because he's got block and dodge, he's more durable. Go stand him next to this black orc and take the assist out, and then I think this is a block beastman who'll be in to blitz this blitzer who's block and frenzy. And then I'm going to be looking at driving left with my attack. So other player here, it'll be left over, he has diving tackle as well, may or may not come in useful. Don't think it comes in that useful against orcs, but this warrior and this beastman should be free to come claim more space over here, and I'm looking at shoving my attack down that way. See what I do with a quick snap. I think I'll just do a bit of overlapping really. These 2 gain a bit of ground, these 3 close in on the ball, and I think I overlap a bit on the line of scrimmage. Maybe not this side because I'm showing left really. Ball lands, bounces into the hands of my block beastman back there. So just a push, but not following up because I know I wanted to assist in a block on the troll in a minute. both down's fine because I'm using block players first, no turnovers. Same again on the troll. Quite satisfying when you can both down somebody and knocks them over. So yeah, that's the more durable beastman in there. Then some free moves. I should have done some of these free moves first, really. This warrior's now freed up as well. Forming a pocket I can move the ball into. Over this way, wrestle beastman to watch the back. And that's the blitz in there. Doesn't do anything, but I've made space to go get the ball into. And the Orcs can obviously react to this by piling on this way, making it very difficult for me to get through. They do make it difficult for me to get through in this half. But eventually the touchdown goes in, and it was just a case of, like with all of them, lining up your 2 dice blocks. Make sure all your block players have got 2 dice blocks, as many as you can. You're obviously not going to, when you've got several block players on the team, they're not all going to get blocks when you're in your first turn of an attacking drive, but all the ones you can, make sure they've got 2 dice blocks. Make sure your blitz is going to be 2 dice with a block player preferably, and yeah, just go get them. Think about where your attack's going to go, claim as much space there as you can, get the ball in there. A quick example here is me playing Norse against Wood Elves, human coach again. And yeah, the way, so this is it's taken the Wood Elves 7 turns to score, but they took a real pace in doing it. As the injury box will attest. So outnumbering this team quite a lot, which is not something you always get, obviously, but do have a big numbers advantage, which obviously makes this easier. But the Wood Elves have left me with the frenzy players I got on this team. This Ulfwearer in particular, I'm looking to get my blitz in there, because if I can take this guy's assist out, I've got 2 dice here, follow up, and then could be shoving someone off the pitch, and that's another player down. So that's what we covered in our defensive setups video. That's something you need to prepare for if you're playing against frenzy players. But if you have frenzy players and you're receiving, look out for opportunities where they've not done that. It's an opportunity too good to miss, really. So along here I have both of my berserkers, so that's more frenzy players, block frenzy players, in here to be safe 2 dice blocks, and because they'll get another chance at it if it doesn't work out first time, they're on the line of scrimmage to make blocks. Obviously basically everyone in the Norse team has block, so that's neither here nor there. But over next to here, where I'm hoping to get a player removal, I've got a runner, quickest player. I've got 2 turns. I want to try and score in these 2 turns, so my runner is as far forward as I can possibly get him. He needs to cover 13 squares. He's got movement 7. He's got 2 turns. Thrower back here, a lesser seen Norse thrower, which I like to use in my team. His job, get the ball, get it to the thrower, but after I've done all my blocks, because I don't have any blocks that aren't safe. Every block and blitz I make is going to be 2 dice with a block player, so I'm doing all of those first, then I'm picking up the ball. My riskiest move is a 3+. I haven't got any rerolls. It's definitely the riskiest move I've got to make in this turn. Then he's got to throw it. Again, a risky move. Then I've got to catch it. They're all, I think, all going to be 3+ rolls with no reroll. The pass, the thrower's got pass, so I'll get a reroll on that. But getting rid of as many of these players as I can. I want to mark this one up. I want to do that first anyway. That's this lineman's job. Mark him to take so he can't assist on my Ulfwearer, so that's 2 dice. So he's going to be marked once I've got players free here as well, or another player in there to have this player tightly marked. And then just as many people forward as I can to protect my runner, whose job it is to score in 2 turns. So we're off straight away with both down, coming off right. I'll use this lineman instead. There we go. And now I can make that blitz. Turns out he was down first time. But it's a knockout anyway, so still got a player off the pitch. Even though it wasn't pushed. I think that was an accidental go for it that I didn't spot. But yeah, now moving players down here as they become free from blocks and the line of scrimmage. So when they put their assist down, they're going to move forwards, claim as much space as I can. In this instance, mark up this lineman who's back here. Again, using the Berserker, because if this is just a push, I'll get another go. And that's another lineman free who can go claim some space. Mark the War Dancer. The War Dancer's probably going to be able to escape far enough, but I specifically chose this side to attack on because the War Dancer's over there. It's a dangerous player. That's the ball to the runner, and he gets down there. Uses maximum 7. It's going to be tough for the Wood Elves to stop that attack, and spoiler, they don't. One last example, again against a human coach. This is my noble team, the Festus Russells, playing against Chaos. So big bash matchup. Yeah, and I've gone heavy on the line of scrimmage. They've gone heavy on the line of scrimmage. I think I'm going to struggle to hit all of these players, but I'm looking at 2 dice blocks where I can. They've got 3 guards on the line, because it's going to be tricky for me to get as many as them. So I'm not really hoping to properly get 2 dice blocks all the way. Sort of going to do what I can really. But I'm looking to pile down this side because the Minotaur's over here. So seeing this as a bit of a softer wing. And this is the hole I want to be attacking. So while I could start this Beastman here just to get a block on this guy, I'm going to struggle to get an assist. Yeah, so he's probably going to have to blitz anyway. That's where I'm going to use my blitz to get to make the most out of horns. So you might as well start 1 square back. I don't want him going too far forward on his own, because this team really needs to stick together and cage quite tightly. So I'm just hoping to make a bit of space in here. So I've lined up all 3 of the block warriors I've got here. I want to block with all of them this turn. I've got a guard in here. My Beast of Noble is over here, sort of anchoring this side, and I want to kind of try and pivot the line of scrimmage, sort of sideways like that, to create some space here for me to attack, and sort of try and bully my way through over the course of 8 turns and get the ball into the end zone. Pescador's back here for ball retrieval. It's a high kick, so this one's just moved underneath it, and we're going straight in. So that blitz first, because I know I want to make it a nice, safe one. Only get a pushback, which is a shame. But yeah, just claiming some of that space. That's a 2 dice one. Pushing that way, try and make a gap in here. And this is the pocket I'm looking at getting the ball into. So now I've made that pocket. Ball goes in there. Sound really stupid. I think that was the idea was try and take that Beastman out, because that was one of the places I had 2 dice. Do manage to get 2 dice on that warrior, and he goes down, and that Beastman as well, which is just a push. But yeah, no one left to be taken on this warrior. And what I've decided to do is just leave this rotter as bait for the Minotaur, because the Minotaur obviously wants to blitz to make the wild animal roll easier and to make the most out of horns and juggernaut. So again, I'm sort of leaving it a not valuable target to go do that. Yeah, so that was that setup. So 2 kickoff results to look out for that can really ruin things. So perfect defence gives the kicking team opportunity to turn the tables on you positionally, instead react to yourself, undoing all of your carefully laid plan and denying you the safe blocks that you thought you had. And blitz, the obvious one perhaps, is a free turn for your opponent for all their players that aren't marked, usually all but 3 of them. It gives them a chance to hit one of your players first, reposition their defence, and maybe to threaten or even take possession of the ball. Really the worst outcome for the receiving team. Another thing to look out for with kickoffs are defensive players with the kick skill. Some of the setups I used in the examples we've seen, especially when I went sort of heavy on one flank, were very vulnerable to a shallow kick on my weak wing, and it would have made it hard to secure the ball, and a blitz would have been really quite terrible. So watch out for those. It would have been much safer in some of those instances to have at least one player on that refused flank to help make the ball a bit safer, especially on my slower teams as well. A quick snap can be helpful. We saw one in one of the examples. If the kicking team has set up one square away from the halfway line, it gives you a chance to sort of jump up into them, get more blocks without spending your blitz. And it also gives you a chance to grab a free move towards the ball or just into the other half. And if you happen to have a player that can move 12 squares, it gives you a chance to put someone in range to score in one turn. So it might be worth deploying those quite far forwards in a safe spot, but quite far forwards. So things to consider: secure the ball. That doesn't necessarily mean picking it up immediately, just make it safe. Identify your attack route, work out which opposing players are the softest targets, or perhaps not, just not the most difficult or dangerous players to deal with. Where can you get the most advantage with blocks? Position the right players with all the assists they need from the start. Players might be able to move around between blocks and assist more than once, but plan where your safest and most dangerous blockers start and what order you're going to block in. Make the most of your blitz. Get a safe and dangerous blitzer to hit someone away from the halfway line that is blocking the path of your attack route. And be wary of bad kickoff results. So, in some ways there's not really much you can do to plan for them unless you play that just really carefully. And there'll be occasions where that's important, but generally a bad kickoff is just going to mean that you have to adapt your plan quickly once the drive's underway. So thanks for looking in on this one. Next time we're going to look at pushing back.